You see, if you take South Africa, we have a small white population that projects the European culture, or what we learned from Europe.
And oppressed millions of black people.
No.
For decades.
How do you oppress? We gave them work. We fed them. They grew from a tiny little group into a massive group. That's not oppression. That's feeding them. We fed them, for crying out loud. Enough with this nonsense.
But so you understand, because the black population was so oppressed under apartheid.
Well, we never saw this oppression you're talking about.
You never saw it.
No, I never saw it.
Yeah, because you're white.
So now you can understand where his hate for black people come from. Like father, like son. The fact that he went on CNN and said that and act like nothing was wrong. That's probably how most of you motherfuckers from that age group actually feel. People like this is the reason why racism still exists. It's not just in this country. It's all around the world. Birds of a feather flock together. Why you think Elon and Trump was so cool? For people to still think like this in this day and age is insane.
Greetings everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel once again, and if it's the first time that you're coming across my content, I will kindly request that you hit the like, subscribe and the share button. And to my returning subscribers, I'd also like to thank you and still encourage you to interact with this video through liking, commenting and sharing. And well, in today's episode I'll be covering the viral speech by Errol Musk, who is Elon Musk's father, in which you get to see that he made some statements that have rattled the internet, as it specifically targeted the black population that is in South Africa and in the United States in general. Kindly watch this episode to the end as I come with my commentary at the end of it.
Elon Musk, you better tell your ugly ass daddy watch his mouth. This ain't South Africa. Elon Musk, you better tell your ugly ass daddy watch his mouth, because this ain't South Africa. Elon Musk's daddy was on CNN doing an interview, and they said, for the first time in American history, in 20 years, white people will be minorities in America. And he said, why you want to go do that? You don't like electric cars? You don't like cars? You don't like stability? You want to go back to the jungle? Excuse me? Says the man who tickles his daughter? Are we really doing this right now? Elon, listen, I know you and your daddy ain't got the best relationship, but this is what you come from. We ain't even begin to talk about the fact that y'all ain't really from South Africa, okay? Because in that continent, y'all stole that too. Just like y'all stole every goddamn thing else. Now listen, I think you need to tell your daddy with them weak-ass knit sweaters that he need to stop doing interviews. Everything on the screen look beige and washed out. Everybody look like they on the front row ticket seat to go see Jesus. Yeah, skeleton eyes. Elon Musk's daddy need to watch his mouth when he on these interviews, and CNN, y'all should know better than even posting that. Unless y'all trying to out Elon Musk from when he did the little chest bump. I understand that totally. Sidebar, Elon, next time you talk to your little Dumbledore looking ass daddy, you need to tell him to put some moisturizer on before he do interviews up there looking like parchment paper. I digress. Elon, get a handle on it now. I got some Tesla stock now. This not gonna look good for the investors. I'm just bringing y'all the news. I'm just the messenger.
I hate when a nigga I don't like is saying some real shit. Elon Musk's dad goes on this interview and he says that if white America becomes a minority, it will be horrible. And though he has a point, which I'm going to explain, there's a solution to it. So the Latin word for economics is economia, which literally translates to the study of lack. That in itself should tell you that you cannot have an economy without somebody lacking. Now, it's no secret who's literally been lacking since America even became a thing. The first thing that was ever sold on Wall Street was a slave, by the way. So if the amount of white Americans in America just shrink overnight, which we all know is not going to happen, Black America will be the majority. But Black America and other marginalized groups as a whole will not be able to support this economy. However, white America is not going to shrink overnight. And so the only way white America became the minority in this country is if minorities were to substitute white Americans or replace white Americans. And if that was the case, then I'm pretty sure we will be able to still keep this economy going. Now, I'm not an economist or anything, but I feel like I'm on to something. Like, am I telling the truth? Somebody let me know in the comments. I feel like that's what he was trying to say. He's just so racist and stuff. Like, we couldn't see past it. But yeah.
Errol Musk, Elon Musk's dad. I got to give it to this guy. He doesn't pull any punches. His racism is right in your face. I love that ignorant shit. I mean, he serves it on a hot plate. His racism's like, whew, steaming racism right there. He don't hide it. He doesn't do that passive aggressive shit that people do. You know, he gives it to you right in your face. And that's why I respect his ass, because we know where we stand with this crazy motherfucker who got his stepdaughter pregnant, right? The guy asked, this interview asked, you know, in about 20 years, white people will be like the minority in America, 48%. You know, he goes, oh, that would be a very, very bad thing. Very bad thing. I mean, bad thing to happen. You want to see this in the U.S. to go down? Huh? You want to see it go down? You don't like cars, electric cars, technology? This is bad. I mean, you want to go back to the jungle? I mean, this is what he said. And then he goes, you know, like in South Africa, you know, the small majority of white people, we bring our European culture to Africa. What culture are you talking about? Stealing people's shit and claiming it as yours, and then dehumanizing the people that are around you that look different than you? Is that what culture are you talking about? The fact that a white South African can say that about South Africa is so sick to me, because they got that town, I told you, called Orania, where they don't allow black Africans there. You move to a black continent and don't allow black people to come to your town that you established. Yeah, I hope they do a Tulsa move on that. I hope that town burns down. I think that's fucking horrific. But anyway, this is Errol Musk, man. He's like, no, this is a bad thing. It's a bad thing. Go back to the jungle. You mean America? You don't want America to go back to its natural color, right? Which was Native American. That was brown motherfuckers all up, you know, America and Canada. Yeah, it was all brown. You know, whites were the first immigrants. Where are you, ICE? You were the first immigrants. Yes, you were. You understand? So I think that's pretty fucked up that he said that it would go back to the jungle, man. You know who he's talking about, huh? I give him that credit for being honest, and that's why you see how Elon is. I just think my technology is the best. I just think it's best. It's the best thing, you know. Now you see where the apple doesn't fall that far from the tree, guys. That shit was gangster, boy, you know? But hey, there's nothing you can do about it, because, by the way, technology, lots of black Americans contribute to technology in America. A lot of other brown people contribute to America and how it's moved forward, plain and simple. And a lot of whites stole a lot of black inventions. Their patents, they stole a lot. I don't want to go through all them. Just look up black inventors and shit like that. There were Latino inventors. There were all kinds of different inventors, okay? Just to let you know. So I feel that America had a self-hate problem. It was using bleaching cream at one time, back in the day. Yeah, a couple 100 years ago, America was like, I'm sick of being brown. It started using bleaching cream and became all light-skinned and shit. And then now it's like, I want my color back. So that's what's really happening right now, starting to love itself again. So, Errol Musk, there's nothing you can do about it. It's coming. Black, brown, we're all coming to take America back again. Welcome to the jungle.
Elon Musk's father, Errol Musk, made his bigoted worldview unmistakable. He said the United States is doomed if white people became the minority. He delivered it plainly, with full confidence, with his full chest, as if the stability of this country depends on keeping one racial group in the majority.
Is America, in the next 20 years, will become, for the first time in its history, a minority white country?
Well, that will be a very, very bad thing to happen. You want to see the US go down? Why?
He went further by saying people who accept demographic change must want to go back to the jungle.
Oh, you don't like cars and electric cars, and you don't like technology, or what is it? You want to go back to the jungle, or?
That line shows exactly how he sees the world. White dominance equals order, and anything else signals decline.
If the US becomes a minority white country.
Yes.
So there's Latinas, there's blacks, there's people from all different races make up the majority, and then, you know, it could be 48% white people. Do you really think the US is doomed if it goes under?
Yes, it goes under then.
Seriously?
When asked about oppression under apartheid, he claimed he never saw any. He dismissed decades of documented violence because his own experience shielded him from it.
But so you understand, because the black population was so oppressed under apartheid.
Well, we never saw this oppression you're talking about.
You never saw it.
No, I never saw it.
Yeah, because you're white.
His comments reflect a long-held belief about race, power, and who he thinks should run societies.
You see, if you take South Africa, we have a small white population that projects the European culture, or what we learned from Europe.
And oppressed millions of black people.
No.
For decades.
How do you oppress? We gave them work. We fed them. They grew from a tiny little group into a massive group. That's not oppression. That's feeding them. Do you understand? You only grow big if you get fed. You only start at 800 and become 50 million if you get fed. We fed them, for crying out loud. Enough with this nonsense.
His comments align with the same mindset that allowed white Afrikaners to receive asylum in the United States. That policy treated a privileged group as endangered while ignoring the actual history of who held power and who suffered under it.
So 1990, Mandela gets out of prison, and then he gets elected as the first black president of South Africa. And how massive a change was this in South Africa?
Well, it was very harsh. The white people, didn't have much faith in black people running the country, And we'd also seen, what happened to Rhodesia, which is today a completely defunct, destroyed country that doesn't exist. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's not an existing country. Has no functioning. It's not a functioning country. That's Rhodesia. It's the next country up. And so the white people here were terrified of what this meant. And, in the beginning, we actually, through Mandela, keeping many of the existing government structures in place, things weren't that bad, but people had no faith, no faith in things getting better, And so people were very, very worried, and everybody, May and her whole family, left the country. Everybody in her family left the country. May and her whole family, they all left the country. My partner had left the country much earlier before, but nearly everybody we knew who could leave left the country. And so, it was not good. It was not great.
I remember one of the things that Mandela said when he first took power was that he didn't want black people to take revenge against the white people of South Africa. He wanted a society where everyone coexisted. Was that actually the case, though?
Did he actually say that? I mean...
Yeah, he said
that. Well, look, I wouldn't have... that would have been very bad for the black people, The white people are not pussies in this country, The white men in this country are serious, if you understand what I mean. We wouldn't have wanted something like that to happen. It would have been a terrible thing to happen, It's not like we would all run away, It was 450 white men and women who defeated 10,000 Zulus at the Battle of Blood River and left 6,000 of them dead, So, and not one injury to a white person. So no, the white people, that's a good thing it didn't, because it would have been stupid. But it was a very nice thing for Mandela to try and say to people. On the other hand, they did start going into gangs of, blacks did start going into white people's homes and just shooting them in their beds. And, here and there, they came into my home on one occasion, 7 or 8 of them. And, I dispatched 3 of them to the next world, and then the rest ran away. South Africa, as I told you earlier, in 1994, when the ANC took over, let me just say, at the moment in South Africa, we don't have a single government department that functions. We have partially functioning government in this country, even to this day. Nothing really functions. So, for example, about the last 18 months, no one could get a passport here. It was almost impossible to get. The Home Affairs doesn't work. And so the banks started issuing passports here with the approval of the central government. I mean, there's no functioning government department in this country. Let's face it, it's no good pretending, things aren't nowhere near what they should be in this country. But at any rate, where was I now? Back in 94, when the ANC took over, I mean, for the first thing that happened, I was a city councillor for 10 years in one of the most beautiful buildings. I had my office in the country, probably in the world. In the first year, they burned it down to the ground. This huge, magnificent structure was burnt to the ground in the first year, in 95. Anyway, that's typical,
So, Elon Musk's dad is talking about something about he don't want to go back to the jungle if white people end up being the minority. And, I'm all for, them being the minority. And this is why I keep saying, people that hate on interracial marriages are weird. Because I love them. Because, we're about to start doing, I feel like, just hear me out. We need to create more brown children. More. We're about to drive them nuts. We're about to have a bunch of Spanish-speaking, French-speaking, all types of niggas, brown babies everywhere just speaking anything but English, but we can also speak English too. They're going to hate that, bro. They're going to hate that. Because you can see a nigga just like me, and I could start speaking a whole different language. You're like, what? But you don't look like, you're one of those. Yeah, I'm just saying, we need more brown babies. More. That's what they're afraid of. That's why they keep pushing this birth rate, because they said not enough white children are being born into the world. Sorry. And people love who they love. There's a lot of biracial children that are being born right now, and I love that. Everybody got a little spice to them now. Everybody got a little something. And I'm all here for it, and they're stressed. They're like the clean white gene is washing away. Yeah, it is. That racist white grandfather with them 4 black kids. Not white passing, they're black. I know he's sitting in his chair mad. Yeah, they're going out. Sorry.
2 boys or 2 girls or whatever, but Elon's siblings are the product of a pedophile. Yeah. So why would you give somebody like that a platform? Well, he's the father of Elon Musk, and the richest man in the world. So, you want to know his thoughts. You want to go straight to the source. Like, who raised him? How did he get to be the way he is? Or why did he think the way he thinks? And this gives you some indication. The fact that Elon Musk has so many baby mamas, so many babies all over the place. He has often been called a great man. That might be true in regards of success, accomplishments, and things like that, business accomplishments, career accomplishments. But as a human being, he is a complete failure. And this is why he's so angry. Oftentimes, people who are standoffish, people who didn't do well in high school, didn't play well with others, didn't really have any healthy friendships growing up, especially guys who wasn't good at getting the girls. Now that they got some money, they can get the girls by just waving the money. Oftentimes, these are some of the worst people in the world because they don't know how to let bygones be bygones. They don't know how to just process that, hey man, everybody loves a star. As Michael Jackson said, everybody loves a star when he's on top, but nobody ever comes around when he starts to drop. And that's just the way humans are made. When things started going south for me in my music career, I always knew that I was going to bounce back, but I saw a clear difference in the way people treated me when I was on top as opposed to when I had fell off, right? I saw a clear difference, and I knew that there would be a clear difference once I bounced back on how they responded to me, and how they viewed me. But I didn't take it personal. That's just the way people are, man. These type of people, you feed them with a long spoon. It's as simple as that. You don't have to hate everybody. You don't have to, because you had limited action at the girls in high school, you don't have to try to get back at every woman, Man, you take it as it comes,
Well, in his viral speech with the CNN respondent, we see Errol Musk, who is Elon Musk's father, giving out some of the most disturbing speeches that any people of color or any persons that have experienced any form of discrimination or subjugation will really feel offended about it. And in this episode today, you're seeing that Errol Musk's father made some very disturbing comments about the black population that is in South Africa, whereby he claimed that he never saw any problem with apartheid, and he believes that the whites who are located in South Africa, known as the Africans, did a favor to the blacks who are majorly oppressed, working in the fields or working as slaves in the most horrible of conditions, by claiming that at least they gave them food and this enabled them to reproduce and grow to the current big population that they have. Again, going back to history, you'll get to see that this statement by Errol Musk is very controversial, as you get to see that it is the Afrikaans, these Dutch Europeans, who found the original Africans, that is the South Africans, who are inhabitants of the land. And you get to see that these individuals were fully sustainable and they were able to provide for themselves, that is food, depending on the community that each individual came from. And you see that these individuals had ways of managing to get food for themselves, managing the community, and everyone was just living fine. And they claim that these white individuals came into South Africa to offer food to these black individuals who, according to his description, were on the verge of becoming extinct thanks to hunger and other diseases. And it's only the intervention of the white settlers in the country that helped them have better nutrition, that encouraged them to multiply. As you get to see, this statement alone is a huge mockery to the suffering that most of the black individuals or the black Africans experienced in the country. As you get to know, apartheid was one of the cruelest method used by the white settlers in South Africa, whereby you get to see that people were segregated majorly based on their skin color. And you get to see the white supremacist ideology became rampant in this country, to a point that the whites, who are the minority in South Africa, were holding bigger shares and were running major company in the country, holding bigger resources in the country, or even owning land in the country, compared to the natives of the country, who were left to plunder in poverty and suffering amid the discrimination that was again given to them in their own motherland. And with Errol Musk, this wasn't a problem to him, as it was not affecting him in any way. As you get to see that he also claims that he never witnessed apartheid in the country. Of course, what do you expect for an individual whose skin color favors him in the country, and it's his own people who are causing the suffering to other people? So when he claims that he did not experience or see any form of apartheid in the country, well, it could be out of ignorance, and again, it could be a fact, considering the reality that these were the individuals who were causing harm to the other oppressed individuals. And so, being protected by the country's laws and the system in general, it's very possible that he never experienced it. And again, coming back to the United States, we get to see that Errol Musk also claims that if the black Americans become the majority in the country will go back to the Stone Age period. And according to his own statements, he claimed that the Americans will go back to the jungle, showing that Africans will not be able to make America prosper as it is doing right now, in which this is still skeptical, as most people are believing that America right now is on the trajectory of its downfall. And according to Errol Musk's father, he believes that when black individuals become the majority in the country will be plundered into poverty and distractions, as a black man is not designed to make any progress in any place that is located. Well, this is very stereotypical and openly racist from him, and most Americans believe that his son, Elon Musk, took these racist ideologies from his father, as most people claim that Elon Musk is always against the black individuals. We are seeing that during his time in Trump's government, he suggested policies that were outrightly against the black community. And most people are taking this as a sign that his father successfully transformed him to a white supremacist ideologist who became also a racist that is causing problems to most Americans right now. And if you've watched the rest of the episodes and clips in this video, you'll see that Americans have reacted to this and are coming to a harsh reality that racism in the United States is still a reality. And if these individuals in power still have this kind of mindset, it is quite a long way for these racist ideologies to die. And as for Errol Musk, we are getting to see that he is an individual who is again mad with controversies around his life, not only based on how he raised his children, that is Elon Musk and his brother, also about the relations that he's had out there. If you go and check in the internet right now, you'll get to see some of these controversies and claims that he has been accused of. And to most people, he can easily pass as a sociopath, or let's say an individual who really doesn't care about the feelings or the well-being of other people, as long as his own personal needs are met and his ideologies are playing out as he has always predicted them. For the black individuals, that is both in the United States and in South Africa, we have seen a major backlash on the internet as they are coming out to call out Errol Musk for his controversial statement, and they're also bringing Elon Musk into the mix as they are now getting to know the full picture as to where Elon Musk got these ideologies and this hate for the people of color that they believe he currently has. Well, this marks the end of this episode, and I would really love to hear from you in the comment section. Kindly share your thoughts and ideas with me in the comment section as we get to interact. And thank you once again. See you in the next episode.